Eleaf iCare 140. How's it going, everybody? This is Andy with AspenValleyVapes.com, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Eleaf iCare 140, which is one of the recent releases with the 4 new iCares that came out. I did cover that Eleaf iCare Solo in a video earlier this week, and today we're going to be taking a look at the iCare 40. This 140 right here is my favorite out of the 110, the 140, and the 160. I'm going to show you guys some close-up comparisons to the other two pen style, and I'll also show you a size comparison to the Eleaf iCare Solo in the close-up here in a second. So like always, we're going to go over the basics on this starter kit, have a quick vape on it, and then we'll dive in, take a close-up look, take a look at the mod, do a little size comparison to the other iCares out there, and then we'll bring it back up top, have a few more vapes on it, and I'll give you my overall thoughts on this Eleaf iCare 140. Starting off with the basics on the iCare 140, it is an all-in-one device. The tank is built into the mod itself, and it does use an internal battery. That internal battery is a 650 milliamp hour internal battery, and it's charged via the micro USB port that's located on the side right here. The 140 has a 14 millimeter diameter around, and you guys will see that better in the close-up when I compare it to some of the other iCares. The e-liquid capacity on here is a 2 milliliter e-liquid capacity. It is top filling, and it does have top airflow and a removable 510 drip tip up on top. The coils inside of here are the 1.1 ohm Eleaf IC coils, and this kit does come with 2 of those coils. Unlike the original iCare and the iCare Mini, it is a push to inhale, so you just hit this fire button right here and then you take a vape, instead of like on the iCare and the iCare Mini where you just inhaled without having to press anything. You do have to press the fire button on this one. There is no adjustable wattage on this kit. The maximum output is 10 watts, and that's going to depend on your battery life. As your battery starts to drain, the wattage output is going to go down a little bit. Before we go into the close-up, let's go ahead and have a quick vape on it. I have the Mr. Salty Blood Orange Lemonade in here, 45 milligram nicotine salt e-liquid. If you're going to be using one of these low-powered devices like this and you want that Juul-style vape, then you're definitely going to want to use one of these e-liquids. They have a couple different flavors there. There will be a link in the description to check it out on AspenValleyVapes.com. I really like this Blood Orange Lemonade though, and if you are a Blood Orange fan, I would highly suggest checking this one out. Alright, here we have the front of the packaging on the iCare 140. Flip it over, you can see what this package does come with, and then the 5 different color options that it comes in. Authenticity checker. Slide that box open, you will have the iCare 140 right here. You will have a USB cable and the 2 Eleaf IC 1.1 ohm replacement coils, and then you'll get an iCare 140 user manual here. User manual is straightforward, just goes over some of the basics on you. There's not really too much to tell. It's a very simple and straightforward device that I'm going to cover right now. Alright, so here we have the iCare up close. You can see the micro USB port right there. The fire button, it's got this sort of rubberized finish on it right here. 5 clicks on, 5 clicks off, 1 click to fire it. You can see the tank lights up inside of there when you do hit that fire button. Up on top here you can see 2 airflow slots that do not seem to be adjustable. There's one on each side, one here and one here. You do have this removable drip tip on here, and it is a little spiral drip tip. So you can see down in there, you can see it is a spiral drip tip. That's to help prevent spitback issues. I haven't had any spitback issues on this, but it will help to catch some of that e-liquid if you are having spitback issues with that spiral design, because instead of going straight up, it's going to hit one of these spirals instead of going directly into your mouth. Since it is a 510 drip tip, you do have the ability to pop your own on here if you would like. This iCare 140 does have a 2 milliliter e-liquid capacity. You can see your max fill line right there, and it is top filling, so you're just going to unscrew the top portion. And here you can see the rod that you attach your coil to. It's a little bit different than the iCare Solo and the iCare Mini, which I'm going to show you in a second here. But for top filling, you're just going to fill up your e-liquid to that max fill line. Once you do that, you just slide that rod back in there and screw on the top cap. Now here you can see that coil rod on the iCare Solo, which is a little bit different than on the iCare Mini and iCare. Now if you've used the iCare and iCare Mini, you might remember some airflow slots down here. That is not on the iCare Solo, and it's not on the iCare 140 either. Alright, now for a size comparison, you can see the iCare Solo on the right, which has a 350 milliamp hour battery, and then you can see the iCare 140 on the left, which has a 600 milliamp hour battery. So almost double the battery life in the iCare 140 on the left. But it's just a quick size comparison. Grab the Eleaf iCare Mini, and now you can see a size comparison between all 3. And then here's a size comparison between the 110, the 140, and the 160. You can see that 160 is a big pen style mod. It's a little crazy, but if you're looking for a lot of battery life and you really like this iCare style, then I was just picking this up. I personally think the best option if you're just looking to pick one of these up right away would be the 140, which is right here, the one I'm doing this video on, or the iCare Solo. This 110, it's pretty long, and it's very skinny though. You can see the diameter. You can see that diameter difference between the 140 on the left and the 110 on the right. I just think this 140 is a perfect middle ground. Reminds me of a classic eGo style pen. Very easy to use. With the 160, I feel like I'm gripping a lightsaber or something. This thing is just pretty dang big for what it is, and it takes away the stealth factor. So I definitely suggest the 140 or the iCare Solo for your first one. Like I said, they should be able to be picked up for under 20 bucks or so. And if you really like this and you just want a longer battery life, that's when I would step up and grab one of these as well, the iCare 160. That's going to take care of this close-up though. Let's bring it back up top, have a few more vapes on it, and I'll give you my overall thoughts on this iCare 140. Alright, now that we've got that close-up out of the way, let's go ahead and have a few more vapes on it. I'm going to do 2 vapes first, mouth to lung, and then after that I'm going to do 2 vapes direct to lung. So this is going to be mouth to lung right here. Alright, so those 2 vapes were mouth to lung, and you can see the vapor production is still good. The airflow is a little bit different on this one compared to the iCare Solo. You guys saw that in the close-up though. Let's go ahead and do some direct lung vaping on this one. So of course with the direct lung vaping, that vapor production is going to be more there. And for those of you that don't know the difference, mouth to lung is where you inhale it into your mouth. Like a lot of people smoke traditional cigarettes, they inhale into their mouth and then they do a second inhale into their lungs after that. Direct lung vaping is just where you go straight to your lungs in one swift motion instead of pulling it into your mouth first and then into your lungs in a second inhale. Let's go ahead and have a vape on the iCare Solo and then on the iCare 140 and take a look at the difference real quick. So the vapor production on both of these is very similar, but comparing the airflow on the iCare 140 and this whole line, the iCare 110, 140, and 160, and the iCare Solo is pretty difficult. They are super similar. I think the iCare 40 has a tad bit more of an open airflow compared to the iCare Solo, but it is very close. Like you guys saw in the close-up, there's the 2 airflow slots on the top of the iCare 140, and from what I can tell, it is not adjustable, unless I'm crazy. Like I've tried twisting the top to see if it's adjustable. They are super small airflow holes, and I like them the way they are when they're wide open right now because I can see that they're open, and I'm pretty sure they're not adjustable. If it is possible to adjust them, please let me know down in the comments. But from what I can tell, they are not adjustable. I don't know, they're just so close to the airflow on both of these. I like both these iCares a lot. I think I'd like the iCare 140 a tad bit more than the iCare Solo. I like the design of the Solo more because I like this little skinny, sleek style rather than the pen style on the iCare 140. But it just seems like this one performs a tad bit better. It's very close. Neither of them are bad devices, but I think, like I said, I like this iCare 140 a little bit more. On the iCare 110, I think that one's a little bit too small for me, and then the iCare 160, like you guys saw in the close-up, is a little bit too big for me. So this 140 is pretty much the perfect size, I would say. It's got a lot bigger battery than the iCare Solo, but you can't go wrong with either of these 2 devices. If you're looking at picking up one of the new iCares out of the 4 they were released, I would suggest looking into the 140 and the iCare Solo. You should be able to pick any of them up for under 20 bucks or so. And if you really do like the 140 and then you want a bigger battery, that's when I would suggest getting the 160. But the 160 out of the box, it's just a very big device and it doesn't really have any stealthy factor to it just because of the size. For my overall thoughts on the Eleaf iCare 140, I think it's a great little pen style mod. If you're looking for that jewel style vape, I would highly suggest checking out some of these nicotine salt e-liquids. I'll leave a link down in the description, and it has replaced the jewel for me. I have been using these e-liquids instead of the jewel cartridges. I actually have this jewel pod right now filled up with some of that Mr. Salty e-liquid, and this e-liquid is a 60-40 VG-PG blend, so it's not going to gunk up these coils because you guys know these iCare coils, they have very tiny little cotton intakes. If there's any other nicotine salt e-liquid lines that you guys like, please let me know because I'm always looking to pick up some more for AspenValleyVapes.com because these nicotine salt liquids are awesome. That is pretty much going to wrap up this video on the iCare 140. It's not too different than the iCare Solo, so there's not really too much to talk about. They are both good devices. All the new iCare devices are good. It's just going to come down to what you prefer in terms of size and design. You have the iCare Solo, the iCare 140, and then in the close-up you guys saw the 110 and the 160. If you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated. And as always, vape on.